So I didn't even know I was being suspended until 10 minutes before it was put on social media. We still have yet to hear anything from Kathy. It's no surprise. You can see what's being said on social media, and yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but as usual, she remains silent, and that's unfortunate when, you know, our lives are up here.
Just listen to what she admitted. She only learned about the suspension around 10 minutes before it became public. Instead of acknowledging her actions or accepting responsibility, she immediately criticized the commissioner for not shielding her from the backlash on social media. That reaction says a lot. Rather than focusing on accountability, the conversation shifted toward blame. Many critics argue this has become a familiar pattern in the league, where players facing discipline often respond by portraying themselves as victims instead of addressing their conduct.
When they do something deplorable, do something sickening, do something with malice, with cruel intent, they are going to play the victim. Oh, we're a league full of members of the LGBTQ community. We need to play the victim.
Here's why the incident sparked so much debate. During a playoff game between the Connecticut Sun and Indiana Fever, many viewers believed Alyssa Thomas made forceful contact with Caitlin Clark's neck, leading to immediate controversy. The play quickly spread across social media, with fans arguing over whether it crossed the line. Instead of the discussion focusing only on the on-court contact, attention shifted to criticism from fans and calls for stronger action against online harassment. Critics argued that accountability for the play itself should come first, while others believed the conversation had become more about controlling criticism than addressing the incident.
Williams saying this about social media.
The internet is not a real place. So I think when you treat the internet like a real place, that's when you get everybody like, oh my God. But it's like, bro, you don't know these people in real life. Just press the block button, bro. Press the block button and then move on. Like,
and I'm going to tell you right now, death threats, blah, 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 blah. Number one, a lot of people, and
now listen carefully to Courtney Williams' comments because they highlight the heart of the debate. She spoke about death threats and personal information allegedly being shared online. If those claims are true, that behavior is completely unacceptable and should be handled by law enforcement. However, many critics argue that focusing on the actions of a small number of anonymous individuals unfairly paints an entire fan base in a negative light. Most people criticizing Alyssa Thomas are not making threats. They are expressing their opinion that the on-court incident deserved greater accountability, and they believe criticism should not automatically be treated as harassment.
So be it, but I think there's a lot of other plays that you can say the same about. I think the biggest thing is it's just about our safety. We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but you know, time and time again, we're having people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, you know, putting crazy pictures that have nothing to do with basketball. So at some point, the league needs to put a stand on it. They came out with no hate speech, but I mean, what is that going to do? At some point, you know, time and time again, players are going through this, and the league remains silent. So I'm sick and tired of it, and it's time for them to step up and have our back.
Her comments raise another question. She acknowledged that the league released a statement condemning online harassment, but suggested that words alone were not enough. She wanted stronger action from the league. Critics argue that this creates a difficult balance. While genuine threats and harassment should always be taken seriously, many fans believe there is also room for fair criticism of what happens during games. They question how a sports league could realistically monitor millions of comments across social media or decide which opinions cross the line. The concern, according to these critics, is that if every strong reaction is treated as harassment, legitimate debate about player conduct, officiating, and league discipline could be discouraged, making accountability harder to achieve.
A couple years ago, when we played Indy in the playoffs, same thing, but not to this extent. You know, our families are being threatened, kids are being threatened, people are sending racial slurs and all types of stuff. And, you know, there's a difference between trolling and there's a difference between hatred. And the hatred that we're experiencing over a play that honestly was a complete accident. No one even knew it happened. It's just unfortunate, but yeah, the league has...
Now we reach the central point of the debate. Courtney Williams described the incident as an accident, but many fans strongly disagree with that assessment. They argue the video footage, viewed from multiple angles, appears to show Alyssa Thomas making forceful contact with Caitlin Clark's neck, leaving little room for a different interpretation. From their perspective, calling the play accidental minimizes what happened and shifts attention away from accountability. Supporters of that view believe the disagreement is not about what was seen on video, but about how the league and those involved choose to interpret the incident afterward.
Playing the game, being suspended, just the whole narrative that's being painted out there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this over basketball. A lot of us, myself included.
You're right about that. It is unfortunate it's come to this in basketball. You don't expect something that you don't even see in the UFC on a basketball court. You're right about that, Alyssa Thomas.
They didn't even know the play took place until after, the game, and now we're being painted as thugs and there's death threats out on us. So it's really unacceptable. It is something that needs to change in this league, and I'm just really.
This is the part many fans believe matters most for the league's future. Some players have argued that the controversy created an unfair narrative and shifted attention away from basketball. Critics, however, see it differently. They argue the incident itself sparked the debate, not the public reaction that followed. From their perspective, greater accountability and a stronger disciplinary response would have helped move the conversation forward. Instead, they believe the league's handling of the situation left many supporters frustrated and fueled even more discussion. These critics worry that if controversial on-court incidents are not addressed convincingly, it could undermine trust and make it harder for the league to maintain credibility with its growing fan base.
Sure to crush someone's windpipe, so F you. Alyssa Thomas fan said, I wish she'd have used more pressure, maybe next time. So you got an Alyssa Thomas fan right there saying, I wish Caitlin Clark would have been killed on the court. That's just what she came.
The debate intensified when an offensive social media comment, reportedly highlighted in connection with Alyssa Thomas, surfaced online. The post expressed a violent sentiment toward Caitlin Clark that many people found disturbing and completely unacceptable. Critics questioned why similar attention was not given to condemning remarks targeting Clark, while discussions focused heavily on harassment directed at other players. They argued that all threats and calls for violence should be denounced equally, regardless of which player is targeted. From their perspective, consistent standards are essential if the league wants conversations about player safety and accountability to be taken seriously.
No way. No how. See you in all kinds of court. That's bullshit. And look, are there going to be crazy fans out there? Sure. Fans are short for fanatic. But at the end of the day, don't put a fist in the throat of the most popular women's player in sports. Women's athlete in sports. These players know damn well what they did wrong. They don't care. They don't care. They're telling you, I don't care, and I'm going to make myself look like I'm the victim here. I mean, you could have set your watch by the idea that there was going to be a victim.
The biggest question coming out of this controversy is whether the WNBA handled the situation in a way that satisfied fans. Many people believe the one-game suspension issued to Alyssa Thomas was far too light, arguing that a more serious penalty would have sent a stronger message about player safety and accountability. Others believe the league followed its disciplinary process appropriately. Regardless of where you stand, the decision has become one of the biggest talking points of the season. Critics argue that consistency matters. They believe any play viewed as crossing the line should receive meaningful consequences, especially during the playoffs when emotions run high. From that perspective, a one-game suspension failed to convince many fans that the league was taking the incident seriously enough. Beyond the suspension itself, much of the debate has centered on the public response afterward. Instead of seeing the conversation move toward accountability, many viewers felt the focus quickly shifted to discussions about online criticism and harassment. While genuine threats against players should never be tolerated and deserve immediate condemnation, critics argue that fair criticism of on-court action should not be treated the same as abusive behavior. The controversy has also sparked a broader conversation about the league's future. Caitlin Clark has attracted unprecedented attention to the WNBA, bringing new viewers, increased television ratings, and sold-out arenas across the country. Because of that impact, many fans believe the league has an even greater responsibility to ensure that its biggest stars are protected while maintaining consistent standards for everyone. Others disagree, arguing that discipline should never depend on a player's popularity. They believe every athlete deserves equal treatment regardless of their profile. Even so, many supporters feel the league missed an opportunity to reassure fans by providing a clearer explanation for its disciplinary decision. Another point repeatedly raised by critics is the lack of a straightforward public acknowledgement from those involved. In their view, a simple statement accepting responsibility and expressing regret could have reduced the controversy much sooner. Instead, the debate continued for days as discussions shifted toward media coverage, fan reactions, and online behavior. Whether that criticism is fair remains a matter of opinion, but there is little doubt that the incident has overshadowed the basketball itself. Rather than celebrating the playoffs, much of the conversation has focused on league discipline, player accountability, and the relationship between athletes and fans. Ultimately, this situation highlights a challenge every professional sports league faces. Players deserve protection from harassment and threats, but fans also expect transparency, accountability, and confidence that dangerous or controversial plays will be handled consistently. Balancing those expectations is never easy. The WNBA now has an opportunity to learn from this moment. Clear communication, consistent discipline, and equal standards for every player could help restore confidence among supporters while keeping the focus where it belongs on the game itself. Whether fans believe the league accomplished that this time remains deeply divided, and the conversation is likely to continue well beyond this playoff series.